For me, it is about the law and people. That is not a legal defense, let me tell you. And how people can resolve and better themselves.
Justice with passion.
I knew I was going to go into law because I always defended everybody. I was always the one who found a solution and tried to resolve the problem by having people talk to each other.
Justice with truth.
So I'm giving you one more chance to tell me the truth.
This is Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Sarah Morgan is suing Joseph Joey Christensen in the amount of $1,500. Ms. Morgan claims Mr. Christensen destroyed her wardrobe by wearing it. Mr. Christensen feels the plaintiff shouldn't be mad that he wore her wardrobe because he bought it.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Cristina Perez presiding. Please be seated. All parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Renard. Well, Mr. Christensen.
Yes, Your Honor.
You like to wear female clothes? Women's clothes?
Only on occasion, just as an artistic inspiration.
Artistic inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you dated the plaintiff, Miss Morgan, for how long?
It's about 3 years.
3 years.
We met online. We met on OkCupid. And it was amazing. We were kind of opposites. I'm kind of like a creative, like jokestery guy, and she's a nurse, and she has her whole life together. Everything's planned out. So it was just a perfect union. The girl I would never thought I would ever get.
Okay.
And here she was.
And there she was. Miss Morgan, so is it true? Did you have a nice relationship with the defendant?
We did. In the beginning, he was really nice.
So you both lived together?
Yes, we moved in about 8 months ago. So we had been dating for about 2.5 years.
Wow, so it was getting serious.
It was.
It was.
At that point, I honestly thought we were probably getting married. So I invited him and suggested that we move in together, and he agreed. And things
And how
were
was moving in together? How was living with each other? That's a big test.
It was perfect. I mean, it was like a storybook. Like, we moved in together, and it was just binge watching TV and then going out to all these great shows and her events at work. It was perfect.
Your Honor, it was really great in the beginning, but about 6 months in, something happened. I came home for lunch to surprise him for a lunch date, and I walk in, and he's on the balcony wearing one of my evening gowns and standing in front of his, whatever they call it, his painting. And he had his back to me. He didn't see me. I saw him very clearly.
And what were you doing, painting?
I was just doing a simple watercolor.
And so he was wearing one of your dresses. Was
Yes.
this the dress he was wearing?
He was not wearing this. He was wearing a similar, it was a formal, sleeveless evening
Dinner,
gown.
cocktail, something just nice for just a night out or night in.
Okay.
So it freaked me out, honestly. I left right away. He didn't see me.
You didn't say anything to him?
I didn't say anything. Honestly, he's never done anything like this. He's never mentioned anything like that. It was very confusing for me.
Of course, of course.
So I left.
So then, the second incident happened.
Yeah, so I came home 3 weeks later, early from work, and he was standing in the living room wearing this dress. For the second time, I walk in and I see him wearing my formal dresses.
What happens, Miss Morgan?
So I've clearly caught him again, and he's standing in the living room, so I confronted him about it this time, and I said, Joey, why are you wearing my dresses? And he said that it was just a joke. It was something he was doing for fun, to get inspiration for a new project. He takes things less seriously than I think he should, Your Honor, and he knows that that makes me angry. So I asked him again, Joey, why are you not only wearing this dress, but you're wearing a dress 3 weeks ago that I saw you in that was not...
Oh, you told him, okay.
Then I told him, yes, and I brought that up, and he played it off again, and I got angry that he was doing that, and I said, fine, and I left, and I went to stay with my coworker. Later in that week, I went to grab my stuff, and I've been staying with her since.
Wow.
When I unpacked at the coworkers at my friend's place, that's when I discovered that some of my clothing had been damaged, including the formal gowns that I had seen him wearing.
What other clothing had been damaged?
So this was the most important one because it's very special to me, but there were also a couple more casual dresses that had been stretched out. There was a tear in the hip.
Coming up on Justice for All,
Your Honor, I did not know this was going to happen.
Sarah,
I
you're the
promise
only
you.
one.
I had
Joey,
no idea either.
Joey, are you Joey, please go back, please.
Sarah.
And later,
So she gets up, she's all in my face, pointing her finger like right directly in my face, and she just pushed my buttons, and I was fearful.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Justice for All is back with the case of Sarah Morgan, who is suing Joseph Joey Christensen for property damage.
Do you have an itemized list, Miss Morgan, of the damages?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
I bought her a number of things over the course of the relationship. I bought her a nice clutch. I bought you those little ballet slippers that she really wanted. A little hobo bag that she uses all the time. It's just one of the ways that I show my love.
You should have just bought your own clothes for you to keep by yourself, or did you buy her those clothes thinking that you could wear them?
Exactly.
I mean, it makes no sense if you're going to ruin them, so just buy your own clothes. You did ruin her clothes. You took her stuff without permission and tore them, so why wouldn't you be responsible to pay back the
Just
clothes?
because all these things were gifts. These were things that...
They were gifts,
The
so
only
that
reason
means they
we're
were
here
her
now is
property.
because she's upset, she's mad, she wants to stick it to me, she wants to embarrass me the same way I embarrass her,
It's
and
a different
I
story.
get it, Sarah.
It's a different story. It's a different story, Mr. Christensen.
Your Honor, I can't take back what I did. I'm just here to try and show Sarah that I'm still the man that she met, the man she fell in love with, the man that will always take care of her. And Sarah, if you're gonna let me be your man,
Joey.
if you're gonna let me make up for this, I want to do it the right way. I
Joey.
want to make up for this every day.
Joey, what are you doing?
For the rest of our lives, Sarah.
Your Honor, I did not know this was going to happen.
Sarah,
I
you're the
promise
only
you.
one.
I had
Joey,
no idea either.
Joey, are you Joey, please go back, please.
Sarah, I'm on my knees. I'm yours.
Joey, I love you, but this is not the time. This is not the place. We have something else that we need to handle, please.
Please.
Your Honor, can you please tell him to go back? This is making me very
I will make it up to
uncomfortable.
you every
Joey,
day.
I told you I
Every
need
day,
space. This
Sarah.
is not the
Excuse me, sir.
time.
Just try it on.
Excuse me, sir. This is gonna happen so we can finish up.
Okay.
Are you
All right.
kidding me?
This is not the first time somebody's proposed in this courtroom. We seem to have that effect on people, Renard and I.
Yes, we do.
That was very brave of you, Mr. Christensen, and I'm sorry it didn't go as you wanted. Now, based on the claim, I have a claim from somebody who says that somebody damaged her clothes without authorization, and not only did you just not stain them, you can't take them to the dry cleaner, she's like, I can't wear them anymore. So feasibly, you're asking for $1,500, and I went through the itemized list, and to be fair, what I have to do is actually put you back in the place where they were. Some of the clothes were very old, or you'd had for a few years. I mean, the dress is by far the most expensive thing, so I think what's fair is to give you half of the value of the clothes. So we will go ahead and award you $750. The defendant will have to pay the plaintiff $750, and good luck, guys, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $750.
I'm truly sorry for what I put you through, Sarah, but I'll always love you, and I'm here when you're ready.
I'm glad the dress got paid for. I'm glad I understand you better. I just need some time.
Coming up on Justice for All.
So she gets up, she's all in my face, pointing her finger like right directly in my face, and she just pushed my buttons, and I was fearful.
Closed captioning provided by.
All now.
You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Allison Massey claims her plans to vacation became a staycation after an argument with her friend. She's suing for the return of a trip deposit in the amount of $639.80. Melina Davis says things got out of hand and the plaintiff left the vacation club.
Ladies, I understand you planned a trip to Africa. Is that correct?
Yes.
How exciting. I've always wanted to go. But, Ms. Massey, you are suing Ms. Davis for $639. Is that correct? And 80 cents?
Yes, I am.
And you are countersuing a counterclaim of $226.95.
Yes.
So why don't you explain, Ms. Massey, why are you suing the defendant?
I am suing Miss Davis today because I put this deposit down on our trip to Kenya, and I was kicked out of the vacation club that I belonged to and never got to go on my trip, and I would like my money back.
Okay. Why don't you start from the beginning? Who did you pay a deposit to?
Well, I pay the deposit through our travel club, so it goes directly to a travel agent.
Okay. So was that deposit non-refundable?
It's paid through the treasurer that handles all that sort of thing. And
oh, I see. So this vacation club had its own checking account?
Yes.
And put the deposit for the group. How many people were in the group?
I think on this trip there were about 10 people that were going.
Okay.
So we had to put 20% down.
Was this club just a group of ladies getting together? Or was it an official club that it must have been if it had its own checking account?
Yeah, eventually it became official when we started going on these more elaborate trips. We kind of wanted to keep track. And, you know, especially Melina is very controlling, so, you know.
And who established it formally?
I would say that we both kind of did it at the same time.
I took charge over it, Your Honor. I'm actually the president of the club.
Okay, so explain to me, is it just a club that, I don't know, Renard and I would have club of bailiffs and judges hanging out going to lunch, or is it an official LLC corporation? There's a different.
It does have an LLC attached to it. We have bylaws and we have echelons. We have president, vice president, treasurer. This is my secretary as well. It's actually an official club.
What do the bylaws say the purpose of this group is?
Well, in case we have incidents such as this, we don't tolerate violence.
So really it's just a group that of friends that get together and plan trips together. It's really nothing more than that. And you just happen to have a checking account. And what do you use the checking account for?
That goes directly with the travel agency.
So because you plan group trips versus individual trips.
Exactly.
Okay. And deposits are usually non-refundable, or they are non-refundable?
They're all non-refundable, yes.
And
they're usually 20% of the actual total bill.
Okay. And the travel agent, though, that did this trip, do we have evidence of that trip?
Well, here's my receipt for my deposit.
Give Renard all of your evidence. So that's the deposit you made. Okay, so that's your $639.80. And when did this deposit, when did you make the deposit? How far in advance to when the trip was going to be?
It was probably about 2 or 3 months before the trip.
So who has the travel agency or whatever company was setting up this trip? Who has the information from them so I see if this is non-refundable or refundable?
Well, our treasurer necessarily deals with all of that, but as far as the bylaws with our group, here I have evidence here that shows our bylaws that nothing's refundable, also that violence is not tolerated, and if anything were to happen,
well, what about you? You can't impose an additional deposit non-refundable.
Coming up.
Why are you suing? Counterclaiming?
For my medical bills, Your Honor.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Justice for All is back with the case of Allison Massey, who is suing for the return of a vacation deposit.
Why are these bylaws so important, and why did she not get her deposit back?
Because she was kicked out of the club, Your Honor.
Whatever.
If you can't cut in our club, you have to leave. But it's not our responsibility to go ahead and contact that travel agency again to get your money back.
Then why should the club get a windfall and keep somebody else's deposit and use it towards the rest of the group?
Well, don't hit your group members. That's not fair.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with the deposit. I don't care what you grown children did together. It really does not concern me. So it seems very arbitrary that you kick her out. Why do you kick her out?
She hit me. She punched me in my eye. Yes.
It's not true.
It is definitely true. We have at least 10 witnesses.
Okay.
And my secretary is here as well, and she's a witness.
Okay, so she punched you in the eye.
Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't call the police, and I just told her to leave.
So it sounds like this is a personal vendetta. That's why you don't want to give her the deposit back?
It's not a personal vendetta.
So how did you hit her? And why did you hit her?
Actually, I don't believe that I did hit her. What happened was, in our last meeting that I attended, which was one of the final meetings before we were leaving, we were discussing details of the trip, what we were going to bring, the scheduling and whatnot. And I had a good idea for somewhere that I always wanted to go to, a beautiful national park. And when I suggested it, she just kept talking like she does and act like she didn't hear me. So I said something under my breath like, oh, well, I guess you're going to ignore me. Well, she thought that I said the B word under my breath, pardon me, which I did not. And she gets up and, oh, you were the one that was like half in the bag already, okay? It was somebody's birthday at this meeting, so we were not only drinking our usual wine, but there was also tequila. She knows that she has a history of getting violent and nasty when she drinks alcohol.
What?
So she gets up,
No.
she's all in my face, pointing her finger like right directly in my face, and she just pushed my buttons, and I was fearful. And to be honest with you, I kind of just like blanked out, and the next thing I knew, they were escorting me out, and then, you know, I get this email saying I'm kicked out of the club and I'm not getting my deposit.
All right, so Ms. Rubin, can you stand up, please? Tell me what kind of evidence you have to offer.
Well, I was at the meeting, and we were drinking a
both
bit.
drinking a lot?
Yeah, we not too much. We each had like a couple drinks.
Specifically both drinking a lot?
I would say they both had like 2 or 3. Yeah.
Were they a little tipsy?
Yeah.
Okay, both of them? Could they have both prevented them fighting with each other physically?
Sure, always.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they both hit each other?
It started to brawl out after the first hit.
Okay, all right. That's enough. Thank you, Ms. Rubin. Okay, so why are you suing, counterclaiming?
For my medical bills, Your Honor.
What medical bills?
She gave me a black eye. I have medical bills for $226.95.
Judge Perez's verdict when Justice for All returns. Promotional consideration provided by...
She paid a deposit to go on a trip. Somebody benefited from it, not her. Sounds like this group benefited from the deposit that Ms. Massey made, and that's just simply, well, you know, simply it's just not fair. So the group will have to reimburse Ms. Massey $639.80. And I will deny your counterclaim because let me tell you something, Ms. Davis and Ms. Massey. I would wipe that grin off your face. It's really embarrassing to hear that 2 just absolutely exquisite women would be so catty to fight. You assume the risk of stupidity, of ruining your reputation, of everything else. So that's not something that I'm not even going to touch. So based on that, I deny your counterclaim, and the deposit will be reimbursed. Thank you.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $639.80.
I'm glad I came to court today and got my deposit back. Now I can plan my own trip to Africa.
Judge made a few good points on how we handle our deposits, so I'll make some changes.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.
For me, it is about the law and people. That is not a legal defense, let me tell you. And how people can resolve and better themselves.
Justice with passion.
I knew I was going to go into law because I always defended everybody. I was always the one who found a solution and tried to resolve the problem by having people talk to each other.
Justice with truth.
I'm giving you one more chance to tell me the truth.
This is Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Reverend Dr. Charles V. Freeman is suing Reverend Ronald Kirk in the amount of $4,725. Reverend Freeman says he was bamboozled by Reverend Kirk and claims the defendant stole money from the church's scholarship fund. Reverend Kirk denies stealing any of the scholarship funds and says the money spent went towards expenses for a student in the program.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Cristina Perez presiding. Please be seated. All parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Bernard. Reverends, both of you. Mr. Reverend Freeman,
Yes, Your Honor.
why are you suing Reverend Kirk?
Basically, he misused the church funds.
No, Your Honor.
We hired him as a bookkeeper only. He's established, which I had no problem, he's established a youth fund. We found out that there were misappropriations of funds in that account. And also, we found out that he joined a country club for over $500. Our comptroller, Ms. Braxton, brought this to my attention. I questioned him. He said that by the way, this is for a golf outing. We find out that's not true. We also find
That's
out
a lie, Your Honor.
we find out also the fact that this $400 went to a child that his mother, that he said that the child that he identified said had no idea they'd never received funds.
Who is in charge of all church finances?
We have a comptroller, Miss Braxton, and she's not here today, Your Honor.
So she's the only authorized person on the checkbook, or are you also?
I am also there.
Okay.
I am also too, Your Honor.
That's incorrect, Your Honor.
Okay.
He's a bookkeeper. He's not a comptroller.
Okay, just for the general church fund, I know for the youth fund, you are also signatory, from what I understand. But the general church fund, normally what happens is that you have one major checking account, you are a signator, the comptroller's a signator, certain expenses over a certain amount must be approved by you and other members of the congregation or a committee. I imagine you have a finance committee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I never touched those funds.
Was he the one that started this youth group?
He started the scholarship fund.
Okay.
And the youth group.
So, Reverend Kirk, is everything that Reverend Freeman said correct up to this point?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I started the scholarship fund, but I was originally brought into the church by the regional bishop to help grow the church. Okay, when I got to the church, I had all these outreach programs. I'm bringing the youth back into the church. When I first got there, no one under 40 years old was in the church, Your Honor. Now we have youth in there. We have single moms in there. We have dads in there. We have so many people that it's so packed in the church now, Your Honor, that people have to stand up in the back. So
That's fabulous.
I brought
Your Honor,
the population back to the church.
And how did you help, explain to me, what did you do to help attract this new membership?
I'm a lot younger than the Reverend, so I'm out there meeting the community, talking to people, attending the high school events, attending the junior high school events, just really reaching out to the people because the church is empty. And I didn't want the kids on the street, so I'm coming up with a youth program.
Okay,
I bring
got
all
it.
these people in.
That's fabulous.
Your Honor, I've got to
Reverend
contradict
Freeman,
that.
Reverend Freeman, yes or no? Did he do that? Did he go out to do outreach to the high schools, to the junior high schools?
Ma'am, I'm going to
Yes,
say...
he did.
No, he didn't. Ma'am, we had 5,000 members. The bishop...
All right, okay.
Well, excuse
so
me.
Obviously there is a huge... you guys were not at the same church, obviously. Okay, so let's get to the scholarship fund since this is what we are here about. Reverend Freeman suing you for almost $5,000, $4,725, because he believes that you misappropriated some of those funds, or that you misappropriated all of the funds. The scholarship fund for the church was established by you. Who is the signator on that checking account?
I am, Your Honor.
You're the sole signator.
Yes, Your Honor.
Incorrect, Your Honor.
Who's the other signator?
The comptroller, Miss Braxton.
Okay, so both of you are signatories on that account?
Your Honor,
Yes or no?
no, Your Honor. I handle that account. She handles the accounts of...
Do we have any evidence?
Miss Braxton was supposed to be...
You guys are,
she's
are
not even...
completely disagreeing in everything.
So
it's going to be my job to read between the lines and my job to understand what you guys are saying, because
Your Honor, Miss
it's
Braxton was
amazing to
supposed
believe there's so much disharmony
This is my
between
program,
two
Your
of
Honor.
you.
Coming up on Justice for All.
Are you there to help people walk the proper way? Or are you
Absolutely.
there to see whose ego is bigger? Because to me, this is not about the Lord. This is not about helping people. This is about whose ego is bigger.
Absolutely,
And
Your
that's
Honor.
what I'm starting to believe.
And later,
It's a very simple transaction.
She asked me about
She bought tickets. All you had to do was put it in the mail. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's extremely simple.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Reverend Dr. Charles V. Freeman, who is suing Reverend Ronald Kirk for fraud.
Let's get to the scholarship fund. So how were you raising money, and who was giving money to the scholarship fund?
Car washes, bake sales. The kids are just out there really putting their groundwork in, you know, reaching the community, talking to people, getting them all active, getting it all going.
So through special fundraisers, the actual youth of the church raised money to put into the scholarship fund.
Correct, Your Honor. There was nothing in the fund when I got there. This is something
true
that
or
I
false?
created. The youth program was something I created.
Did the church youth raise money to put in the scholarship fund?
Absolutely.
Your Honor, I'm going to say false on these conditions. In our city, ma'am, they have to have
I'm going to ask you, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Freeman, listen, I've been patient with you both. I mean,
So, ma'am, there's no record of requesting a permit to do any fundraising.
Are you there to help the people? Are you there to help people walk the proper way?
Absolutely.
Or are you there to see whose ego is bigger? Because to me, this is not about the Lord. This is not about helping people. This is about whose ego is bigger.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm starting to believe. And it's a shame if that is the case.
That's not the case, Your Honor.
And I hope to God that well, it seems to be, because now you're arguing with me. Do you have any evidence of anything? Do you guys have any evidence?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. I have evidence.
What evidence do you have, Reverend Freeman?
Okay, I have credit card bills. I have letters from...
Everything to Renard. What evidence do you have, Reverend Kirk?
The golf club membership?
Give me everything you have, sir. Give me everything you have.
Okay. So explain your evidence.
Okay, you have in front of you, you have first of all, you have a credit card a statement. These are line items. First of all, it says $525 at the bottom for a golf club, a country club membership. That wasn't authorized.
Let me ask you something about the scholarship fund. How were the funds supposed to be distributed?
This is distributed. We were supposed to have the pastoral staff would have a meeting on a weekly basis to see and they are petitioned to see what students are in need that are currently enrolled in college.
I had a conversation with him about funding a child who really needed the money, and he was at a breaking point where he could either go the right way or he could go the wrong way. So I said, let's steer him towards the right way. All the funds I spent was for this child in order to ensure a great future. I didn't spend any money on myself.
Do you remember Reverend Kirk speaking to you, Reverend Freeman, about
after the charges were brought to my attention by the comptroller, ma'am? You look at the files.
Okay, do you remember him asking you we should give the money to this specific kid?
No, ma'am, that never did happen.
This is an email from I can't say who they are. Essentially, she says this correspondence, it's husband and wife find you well and your family well. Thank you for reaching out to us. It's good to hear from you. It's been a while, so you reached out to them. And they say it's fantastic to hear that you have a program dedicated to assisting all students receive funds and scholarships.
Exactly.
We've never been contacted by our family, and we're writing this letter to let you know that we've never received any scholarship funds for our son.
Yes, ma'am. That's the name of the student that Kirk here said that we were given.
You just said I didn't talk to you about a student.
You talked to us about the charges after they hit the account.
But I have no proof that that's the name here with your billing.
No, ma'am.
I never said that student was the one who was going to get the money. He just goes to a random student and say, did you get money?
Private investigator.
We give the money to the students who need the money, Your Honor. We don't give the money to the students' families who don't need the money.
It is very clear you were not prepared to come to court to put on a case. It is very clear that you were not ready to present your side of the case. It was very clear that you came to hear yourself speak and you were not ready to hear or to listen to anybody else speak. You are alleging things. You have no evidence of anything. It's as if you two don't even know each other. So I will give you the opportunity to refile this case and come back with a comptroller, come back with concrete evidence. I don't want just a simple ledger that says the reference number, the month, and it says private type tuition. That doesn't say anything to me. It doesn't give me a copy of the canceled checks. It doesn't show me who wrote the checks out. It doesn't show me anything. I cannot just rule in your favor because you're telling me this is the way it goes. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with faith. It has nothing to do with who you are or what you do for a living. I have to look at facts, and you two seem to not know each other. It's as if you two are running two different journeys in your life, and maybe you're not at the same church. I don't know. Maybe that's something else that you guys need to look at too, because the mere fact that you allow him to be a signature in this checkbook tells me that at least you had the knowledge he was writing checks. And did you then turn a blind eye and ignore it all completely, and now you're complaining? I don't know, but it seems to me you're just as responsible in this situation as Reverend Kirk is. So I am dismissing this case without any prejudice. So if you would like to refile it with your ducks in order and explain to me what really happened, fantastic. But I will not sit here and listen to you speak and speak and speak and tell me without explaining. Do you understand that, Reverend?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, I will await for the new filing, and I recommend that you too, Reverend Kirk, put your ducks in order. Give me all the evidence to prove and to establish your name. Okay? Thank you.
All rise.
Judge Perez has ruled the case has been dismissed.
Well, I'm definitely going to see you again in court. I'm not going to let you steal anything from my church, but for now, I'm satisfied.
Pastor, I really wanted to help the kids. I wish you could have saw that. But, you know, good luck to you and your church.
Coming up on Justice for All.
I put the tickets in the mail, paid it extra, tried to get her in time. I was hoping to go to this show myself. I feel her pain on this. But
give me the evidence to show that you mailed the tickets, because this number is completely invalid.
Closed captioning provided by.
Now.
You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Marla Scott is suing Andrew Robbins in the amount of $1,060. Ms. Scott claims she paid for concert seats twice because Mr. Robbins didn't send the tickets she originally purchased from him. Mr. Robbins claims he sent the tickets out as soon as he got the plaintiff's address.
Ms. Scott, I understand you purchased tickets to go to a concert from the defendant.
I did.
But you never received them.
No, I did not.
Tell me what happened.
I reconnected with my high school sweetheart last year. Around early November, we started thinking about what to do for our anniversary. And I started looking online at our favorite band, and I happened to notice that on their tour dates, they had a show in Hawaii on Valentine's Day. I happened to find a website called ticketsforyou.com where Mr. Robbins was selling 2 tickets for the concert for $220. I purchased the ticket with my credit card on the website, and I received a confirmation. And it had a confirmation number, it had the receipt.
Do you have that evidence?
I have everything, yes, everything.
Go ahead and give Renard your evidence.
When I purchased the tickets and received the confirmation from the website, I was under the impression that the tickets had been bought and that I would either receive e-tickets or see them at will call. It wasn't until 10 days after that that I received an email from Mr. Robbins letting me know that he was the seller of the tickets and that he was requesting an address to send the tickets to.
Did you mail them to her?
she also told me that it'd be too short notice to mail into Los Angeles when she was already coming into town on Wednesday.
This was 10 days after you bought them. How much time did you have until you went to Hawaii?
I had about 2 months.
Okay, that was plenty of time. So why did you not mail them?
Coming up.
Well, it doesn't matter what she thought. It's what you... It's a very simple transaction.
She asked me about
She bought tickets. All you had to do was put them in the mail. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's extremely simple.
Closed captioning provided by... You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Marla Scott, who is suing Andrew Robbins for the cost of concert tickets.
Did you provide the Hawaii address?
Yes.
Did you receive a Hawaii address? Yes. Why were they not delivered to the Hawaii address?
I even paid the $15 extra to pay for the express shipping, and I just don't know why. It's beyond me why they haven't gotten to her.
He provided me with a tracking number, which you can see in my evidence. Once I received the tracking number from him, I tried going on to USPS.com and checking that tracking number.
And it says it was an invalid tracking number?
You can see the response that I got saying that it just wasn't available.
Did you have a phone number for him?
I did not have a phone number. I only
Okay.
had the email address.
Did you
that-
realize she did not get the tickets, that your tracking number did not exist?
No, I sent it through the website, and I mean, might be a problem with either the website or the post office, because I put the tickets in the mail, paid it extra, tried to get her in time. I was hoping to go to this show myself. I feel her pain on this. But
Give me the evidence to show that you mailed the tickets, because this number is completely invalid. Where is proof that you mailed them?
In the tracking number.
The tracking number's invalid.
Maybe they'll still pop up. I don't know. This is beyond me. Why?
Okay, Bernard, do me a favor. Can you step out and double check this that tracking number on USPS, please? So you did not receive the tickets.
Still have not received them, no.
Judge Perez's verdict when Justice for All returns. Promotional consideration provided by...
What did you do for the concert?
I mustered up some confidence to approach one of the scalpers around the arena, and
You scalped tickets, you
We
said.
did for
So how much?
$80 a piece.
So $160 you
Yes.
spent. Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah, it was a
our
hard
anniversary was
So
ruined.
Bernard, not valid, and you called the post office.
Check is not valid.
So you are suing him for $1,060. Why $1,060?
Yes, Your Honor. So I have included the $220 from the original tickets. I also included the $160 for the scalper tickets, and I included the $680 for the travel, since invariably the trip was ruined, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Robbins, when somebody intentionally misrepresents, lies, flat out lies about something, and they purposely lie to gain a benefit, that's fraud. So you intentionally lied. You misrepresented what you had. You got $220 in return. She got zero. She got nothing. So she is allowed to get her money back for what she paid, so $220. On top of that, I'm going to give her the $160 that she spent, so that's $380. And on top of that, we're going to give her $200 because, you know what? She just was miserable, okay? So total, we will award the plaintiff $580, okay?
Thank you.
All rise.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $580.
I'm so glad the judge was able to see that you scammed me out of those tickets. You almost ruined my anniversary.
I don't know what to say. I'm not a scammer or a scalper. I'm sorry this happened to you, but this sucks.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.